Hello everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be trying to dye my own white fabric with food scraps. Double zero waste action. So if you missed my first video about reviewing these and 3 more brands of socks, I'll leave that video linked up here. I received 6 pair of these white socks and I don't like white socks. I think they look like old lady socks. So I thought I would try to dye them myself using food scraps that I already have lying around, repurpose those, and turn my socks into something more enjoyable. It's quite a long process. It seems like I did some research. It seems like it's gonna take a couple hours, but I'm really excited to try this. Let me show you what I'm going to be dyeing with. It's some scraps from a purple cabbage. These are just the wilted leaves on the outside, plus the thick middle parts that you can't even eat anyways, or rather, they're just a bit unpleasant to eat. As well as I added some hibiscus leaves, some dried hibiscus leaves to kind of make that color really pop. And if you've never had hibiscus tea, it is so vibrant. So I'm really excited for that. As well as this came at a perfect time. The other day I went and I traded somebody a SCOBY to make her own kombucha, and she gifted me some local goodies, some local tea, and she gifted me some of these blue tea butterfly. I'll put the name on the screen. I forget what it's called. I also tested this on Instagram. I'll throw the story up here. When you put this in boiling water, it turns the most stunning shade of natural blue. So I'm really excited to dye my socks with this as well. Now that I have the food selected that I want to use as my dye, I need to boil them to get the color through without the socks first. So I need to boil them for an hour to make sure that we get some beautiful color going. And then after that, I have to like sift out all the food scraps, and then I can dye the socks. So it'll be a couple hours, but let's get going. While we wait on that to boil, I thought I would mention some people who inspired me to do this. First off, my friend Emily on Instagram, she dyed her own shirt using blueberries. And that kind of re-sparked this idea in my mind that, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to try that. And then the timing was perfect for everything. I got the white socks, I got those blue flowers. I actually explored doing this myself about a year ago because I had a bunch of white yarn and I was really big into crocheting. I still love crochet, I just don't have time for it anymore. And I didn't want to have white yarn. I wanted to dye the yarn to make it a different color. And that's when I stumbled across using avocados. Also, Shawbizzle on YouTube, she dyed her own shirt and I think pants as well herself, also using avocado. There's a whole plethora of things that you can use to dye your own clothes. Some other things would be dragon fruit. So if you caught my video about zero waste Japanese phrases, you saw that I was hunting for dragon fruit all day because I wanted to use a dragon fruit to dye my socks. Thankfully, I have other options because I could not find a dragon fruit at all. But you can use that, you can use turmeric, you can use any sort of greens. You can probably Google different types of foods that you can use to dye your own clothes. I think it's really, really neat. It's a great way to reuse food scraps, as well as it's low waste, there's no chemicals, it's not harmful at all to you or the environment, which is really, really great. And it's a great way to upcycle some clothes that you might not love anymore. For example, these socks, because I do not like them. In the meantime, while these are boiling back here, I need to soak my fabric. These need to soak in warm water with a little bit of soap for 30 to 60 minutes. I'm just gonna do the full 60 minutes while those are simmering. Everything will be done at the same time, and then we'll be ready to dye. Okay, as you saw, everything is done now. And by done, I mean the dye is ready. We still got a long way to go. But now I'm going to use these old stretched out hair ties that I've been hoarding because I don't want to throw them away. and I'm going to wrap them around one of the pairs and see if I can have a tie-dye effect. And then we simmer them for an hour, and then they soak off the heat for 24 hours. I'll check back in tomorrow morning with what they look like for the final review, but for now I'm going to simmer them again for another hour and then turn the heat off. And then yeah, tomorrow when I get home from work, they should be ready to reveal. How exciting. But that's basically it to this process. It's very simple, very easy to do by yourself with no chemical dyes. I think that's the best part, and you get to utilize food dye. Also, just a quick note, I'm going to be reserving that soap water to use for the dishes that I make throughout the day. I'm not going to put any of this water to waste. And then any water that I have left over from this, I'm going to use to water my plants because it's natural, which is the best part, and I can recycle that water as well. Hello everyone, it is the next day. I'm wearing the same shirt, but if you watch my Weird Ways to Live Low Waist video, or Weird Ways I Live Low Waist, you'll know that I ruin my clothes a lot. It's been over 12 hours now because I got held up late at work, so I'm gonna go take my socks from the dye, rinse them out a little bit with water, and then let them hang dry. And then we'll check in again in a few hours. Really long process for me. I'm glad this is only like 10 minutes for you. It's not quite as vibrant as I would have liked for this blue. I was hoping to have a bit more vibrant, but it's not white, and that's all that matters. Now we're gonna let those dry for a little bit, a long time. We're gonna let them dry completely, and then I'll be back once they're fully dry, and then I still have one pair of white socks left that I'm gonna compare them to get an actual real color difference, as well as some before and after photos. They're strung up on the string for the blinds. I used a hair tie to make it stay up there. I'm just hoping that the warm breeze helps them dry a bit faster. I got very impatient. They're still super wet. It's been like 4 hours, and I'm trying to avoid the dryer as much as possible to keep the color lasting, as well as moving forward, I think I'm going to continue to wash them by hand as much as I remember to, at least, to try to help that color last even more. Just because it is a natural color, I don't know if it's gonna wash out. And I guess if the color does wash out, that means I get to dye them again, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm back and it is evening time. I got impatient waiting for the socks to dry, so I just took them down, took some photos, and I'm gonna show you what they look like. So here's the original white color. This is still in the original pack. I'm saving these for a giveaway at some point. And here it is compared to the blue. So yeah, you can tell a little bit of difference. Nothing too stark, I guess. Ooh, that looks like pretty good right there. But I'm very excited with how the purple turned out. The color turned out very nice with the purple. You good, girl? Turned out really nice with the purple, especially with the tie-dye lines. Those turned out so much better than I expected. So I'm really happy with the purple ones. I decided I really don't like the blue ones. They did not turn out nearly as vibrant as I thought. They're still very much white. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to attempt to tie-dye them black. I have a whole bunch of charcoal powder I bought long ago. I'm gonna try the same process but with dried powdered charcoal, and we'll see what that process looks like. It's gonna be the exact same as before. I'll just come back here to show you the final result, which will be the dry, hopefully black socks. Hello guys, my black socks are done. These ones I'm very scared about the color retaining, so I'm gonna be very careful about washing these. Definitely gonna wash them by hand and take good care of them. Mochi is clawing my foot right now. What are you doing? Get off me. Ow, 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 I asked for that. Anyways, that's all I have for this video, so cue the outro. I hope that you had fun coming along with me as I tie-dye my own socks, as I dye my own socks with food. So cool. I think it's really neat to try like old-timey skills like this, because no one dyes their own clothes anymore and no one makes their own paper and all this stuff. So I think it's really cool to experiment with that type of stuff. Again, if you missed my original sock review, definitely check that out. It's up here. It'll also be linked down below if you're interested in finding some eco-friendly socks. You can even find some eco-friendly white socks and dye them yourself with food waste. How cool. Double eco-friendly. That is all I have. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending some time with me and watching this video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I talk about all things zero waste on this channel, particularly making zero waste fun, easy, and cheap for everyone. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, remember that these small changes you make have a big impact in the long run. Bye, guys. How many times am I gonna speak without the microphone on? How many times am I gonna record without the mic? We'll see how it goes, and I guess if the color does wash out, that means I get to dry them again, which is fun. Dry. Thanks, Denahi. Thank you. Are you done? Yeah. Bruh.